All right, so who are the 144,000, right? We're going to look into the book of Revelation, and we're going to jump a lot in this video, okay? And we're going to just see what the 144,000 is, okay? Like, subscribe, do all that great stuff, and let's jump right into it. So we got right here, all right, Revelation chapter 7. This is where it's first talked about as the 144,000, okay? So the 144,000 of Israel sealed, okay? Now, of who? Israel, okay? After this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, right? That no wind might blow on the earth and sea and against any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the rising of the sun with the seal of the living God. And he called with a loud voice the 4 angels who have been given power to harm the earth and sea, saying, "Do not harm the earth and sea or the trees until I have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads." Okay? And then, so on their foreheads, the seal on their foreheads. So why is this important? Well, the mark of the beast, right? Where's the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast is on the forehead and on the right hand. That's where the seal is, okay, of the mark of the beast. And whoever takes the mark of the beast is not found. Their souls, their names are not written in the Lamb's book of life, okay, in Revelation 22. And so, right, we got right here, Revelation 21, I believe. So that's the whole deal with the foreheads, right? So it's either they had Yahweh's name printed on their head, on their foreheads, or they had the mark of the beast on their foreheads. It was either or, right? If you did not have Yahweh's on your forehead, then you had the mark of the beast on your forehead, and vice versa. And I heard the number of the sealed, 144,000, sealed from every tribe of the sons of Israel. Okay, so the tribes of Israel is the 144,000, okay? Now, I'm not going to read every bit of this, but these are the 12 tribes of Israel, okay? And 12,000 of those 12 tribes, okay? 144,000. All right, so let's jump to, now we know who the 144,000 is, okay? But there's another place in Scripture, right here, the Lamb and the 144,000, okay? Then I looked, and behold, on Mount Zion stood the Lamb, Jesus, and with him the 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name written on their foreheads. Wait, I thought that Jesus was the name of the Father as well. All right, there you go, oneness. All right, here we go. Sorry, I had to put that in there, but there's 2 names written here. 2 names. There's the Lamb's, which is Jesus the Son, right? And then his Father's name, Yahweh, written on their foreheads, right? And I heard a voice from heaven like the roar of many waters, and like the sound of a loud thunder. Okay, the voice I heard was like the sound of harps playing on their harps. Okay, and they were singing a new song before the throne, and before the 4 living creatures, and before the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000, okay, who had been redeemed from the earth. So we already know who the 144,000 is. It's not us in the future, okay? This is the tribes of Israel, and they were already sealed. The elect. Election is not us anymore. That's not the elect. The elect was back then, but that's a whole nother subject, and we'll deal with that in another video. It is these, and then we'll jump into Calvinism. It is these who have not defiled themselves with woman, for they are virgins. And we're all doomed to that. I mean, we're all doomed. we are all doomed. So if we are the 144,000, then that means that I can't be one of them because I'm not a virgin. And probably neither are you. So here we go. It is these, right, who followed the Lamb wherever he goes. These have been redeemed from mankind as forefruits for God and the Lamb. So the first fruits. That's the elect, okay? And we know this from, I believe it's Romans chapter 8 and Ephesians chapter 1, where it talks about the being foreknown, right? Predestined, okay? First fruits of the Spirit, which is not us, but it is them, okay? And in their mouth no lie was found, for they are blameless. Okay, now we're really getting into it. There ain't no way that we are 144,000. There's no way that we are part of that squad. Because you tell lies, I tell lies. We are not blameless, okay? Now through Christ we are, but that's not what it's talking about. Here we go. So we jump down here. None of this right here is as important as, what we're going to get into. This is not, the subject that we're talking about is not really what we're looking at right here, so I'm going to skip down. But real quick, if anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on his forehead and on his hand, okay, he also will drink the wine of God's wrath, right? So, again, you can take Yahweh's name and Jesus' name and put it on your forehead, or you can take the mark of the beast and put it on your forehead. This is not future to us. This already happened, okay? This was just talking about the 144,000. All right, here we go. And that was the elect back then, okay? We'll get into Matthew 24 in just a minute, all right? But right here, this is very important. Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud one like the Son of Man. Okay, Matthew 24, okay? Jesus says, you will see the sign of the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven in great power and glory, with great power and glory. What do you see right here? Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud, one like the Son of Man, with a golden crown on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. And another angel came out of the temple. What temple? There is no temple right now. There is no temple. The second temple was destroyed. This is before the second temple of God was destroyed. Okay? The book of Revelation is before the temple was destroyed, and actually it was during that time. Okay? This was the Great Tribulation passages right here. Alright, so here's the thing. Out of the temple. This is the temple of God, the second temple. Calling with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud. So is Jesus literally seated on a white cloud, riding a white cloud? Literally? He's just up there surfing. No. That's ridiculous. This is symbolic. It's a judgment call. Put in your sickle and reap. For the hour to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is fully ripe. So he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle across the earth, and the earth was reaped. Okay? And then another angel came out of the temple, again, the second temple of God, in heaven, okay? And he too put his sickle in, had a sickle, and another from the, okay, so right here, again, it's talking about, so the one like the Son of Man put in his sickle. Another angel put in his sickle, okay? And then right here, the angel who has authority over the fire, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle, Jesus, put in your sickle and gather the clusters from the vine of the earth, for its grapes are ripe. Okay, so the harvest, okay? That's the biggest deal right here with the 144,000. Okay? So let's jump to Matthew chapter 9 right here. The harvest is plentiful and labors are few. So Matthew chapter 9, verse 35. And Jesus went throughout all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every affliction. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless. Okay? Like sheep without a shepherd. Okay, so this goes into John chapter 10, right? Where the sheep will hear my voice, my sheep will hear my voice, and they will follow me. All right, verse 37. This is very crucial here. Then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. So, right here, first century, Matthew chapter 9. All right, this is the first century. This is already past. We already know that. But Jesus says right here in Matthew that the harvest is plentiful. It's already there. The harvest is ripe. It's there. But there's no laborers. That's why there was the 144,000 of the tribes of Israel. Okay? Now, real quick, we're going to jump to Matthew 24 because I said we would. This is very crucial right here. Okay? Now, all this is crucial. Okay? So, just, it is what it is. All right. And he will send out, okay, no, let's back up. Verse 30. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn. All the tribes of what? Are we called tribes today in the United States? No, we're not. Okay. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with great power and glory. With power and great glory. Same thing. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end to the earth to the other. His elect. They will gather his elect. Okay? All right. Back to this right here. Yeah. A voice I heard like the sound of the harps playing on the harp. Okay, singing a new song. All right. So right here, no one could learn the song except for the 144,000. Okay. But we see right here, stood the Lamb. Okay. And then let's see, like the sound of the loud thunder. Okay. So we see that the Lamb. Okay, this is the 144,000 of the Lamb, okay? Right? So, we see that the four winds, okay, of the earth, all right, the four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of the earth, okay? So, the seal of the living God, and he called with a loud voice to the four angels who have been given power to harm, okay. So, now, until we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads. And then was sealed the 144,000. Okay. Now, let's see exactly what this is alluding to. Okay, back in the Old Testament, Isaiah chapter 5, okay? The vineyard of the Lord destroyed, okay? Let me sing of my beloved, right? My love song, concerning his vineyard. Okay, so this is talking about his vineyard, okay? Jesus talked about a vineyard, okay? And we'll get into that, all right? John chapter 16, I think, or 15, the vineyard. All right, my beloved, right, had a vineyard on a very fertile hill. Sorry, guys. He dug it and cleared it of stones and planted it with choice vines. He built a watchtower in the midst of it and hewed out the wine vat in it, a wine vat in it. Okay, so we don't really know this garden vineyard type wordage, okay? But let's continue to read. And he looked for it to yield grapes, and it yielded wild grapes. All right, so the vineyard that he planted, okay, he expected it to have grapes, okay, for the wine press, for the great wine press, okay? But instead, it yielded wild grapes, okay? So now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard, okay? What more was there to do with my vineyard that I have not done in it, okay? When I looked for it to yield grapes, why did it yield wild grapes? Yeah, why? Okay. And now I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will remove its hedges, and it shall be devoured. Okay? I will break down its walls, and it shall be trampled down. I will make it a waste. Okay? It shall not be pruned or hoed. I think that it's just, all the stuff that you do with gardens and stuff, vineyards and stuff like that. And briars and thorns shall grow up, okay? I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it, okay? For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel. So Isaiah just plainly tells you who it is. And the men of Judah are his pleasant planting, right? And he looked for justice, but behold, bloodshed for righteousness. But behold, an outcry. Okay, and then it goes into the woes of the wicked. So, what happens in Matthew 23? What happens in Matthew 23? Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Woe to you, blind guides, brood of vipers. Okay? He gives the woes. Okay? And then he says, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it, how often would I have gathered your children together like a hen gathers her broods under her wing, her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. See, your house has left you desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Okay? And then Jesus left the temple. Okay. Let's jump back. Now this is where it all starts right here in Matthew 21 right here. So you got the triumphal entry, right? He goes into the triumphal entry, okay? And then he goes, cleanses the temple, okay? Sees that it has no fruit. So Mark actually does a better job of this, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this one, okay? In the morning, because the thing is in Mark, let's go try to find that. Mark, all right? Right here, Mark 11, okay? Because the thing about this is, I watched Mike Winger, and when he went through the whole Gospel of Mark, he called it a Markan sandwich, okay? So what this means is that you have a story, okay, and then there's a part where it's kind of like it has one little section here, and then it has another, and then it goes back to the same section and continues on with that same story. Right? So there's a little bit of filler in the middle. Okay? So in Matthew's gospel, okay, he curses the fig tree after he cleanses the temple. Okay? But right here, on the following day, right, when they came from Bethany, he was hungry. Jesus was hungry. Okay? And seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf. Okay? He went to see if he could find anything on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, right? For it was not the season for figs. He said to it, may no one ever eat fruit from you again. And his disciples heard it. And then he goes in and cleanses the temple, okay? And then the lesson from the fig tree. So again, it's talk about the fig tree, he curses it. He goes past it, going into the temple. He curses the fig tree, goes into the temple, cleanses it, and then comes back the same way, past the same fig tree. As they passed by in the morning, they saw the fig tree withered away to its roots. And Peter remembered and said to him, Rabbi, look, the fig tree that you cursed is withered. And Jesus answered them, have faith in God. Truly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will come to pass, it will be done for him. Okay? Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father also, who is in heaven, may forgive you of your trespasses. Okay? So he doesn't really talk about what the fig tree was all about, because he does later. All right? Because he goes to the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and he curses them. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees. Okay? The old covenant breakers. Okay? Not part of the 144,000. And then he goes into so he comes into Jerusalem. He comes to the temple. And he goes to the fig tree, his vineyard. And he finds no fruit on it. What does Isaiah say? Isaiah chapter 5 right here. I will make it a waste, in which he does. He does. He destroys the temple. All right? He destroys the temple. Do you see these great buildings? There will not be left here one stone upon another, that will not be thrown down. Okay? Because of what? The old covenant breakers. It shall not be pruned or hoed, and briars and thorns shall grow up. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. Okay? For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, the temple, the second temple of the Lord, the second temple of the Lord. Okay, the 144,000. So what happens in Matthew chapter 9 before he goes to the temple in Matthew 24 or Matthew 21 and cleanses it? Okay, and in Mark 11. He says that the vineyard, okay, God's vineyard is the house of Israel. Okay, that's the temple of God. The temple of God, Jerusalem. Okay, he goes into the city of Jerusalem. Okay, and he finds no fruit on the fig tree. Finds no fruit. Okay, so he goes there and he says, there is no fruit on this tree. Let there be no more fruit found on you again. No more rain. It's done. I will pronounce judgment on you. And then he does. Do you see these buildings, this temple? All the stones, there will be not one stone left upon another. They will all be thrown down. Okay? That's what's so crucial about this. Because when Jesus sees that there is no fruit on the old covenant breakers, okay, in the temple, goes to the fig tree, finds no fruit, curses the fig tree, goes into the temple, cleanses the temple, comes back around to the fig tree and sees that it has been withered. Let no fruit come from you again, because there is wild grapes, like he says in Isaiah 5. When I looked for it to yield grapes, why did it yield wild grapes? Meaning, grapes are for the wine press. Okay? It's for the wine press. That's very important here. So the 144,000 that have been sealed from the tribes of the sons of Israel. In Matthew chapter 9, he says that the harvest is plentiful because the old covenant breakers are pronounced, there's already been pronounced judgment upon them. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees. You're done. Judgment is put upon you. The great tribulation is coming to you. You, tribes of Israel. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words will not pass away. So when Jesus comes with great power and glory on the clouds, the Son of Man, this is him coming with his sickle, harvesting the grapes, the actual ripe grapes from his harvest, from his vineyard, which is the 144,000 of the tribes of Israel. That's his elect. Gathering his elect from the four winds. After this, now this is the seal of the 144,000. After this, I saw four angels standing at the four corners of the earth. Okay, holding back the four winds of the earth. Yeah, from the four winds. And then he will send out his angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth and the ends of heaven. So, the 144,000 is the tribes of Israel. Okay? That's what happens with them. The whole book of Revelation, except for Revelation 20, is where we're at with the millennial reign. Okay? Satan is bound, okay, and the millennial reign. Okay? So here's the thing. The 144,000, don't think it's about us, because it's not. We are not the 144,000. They were the 144,000, the elect. We are not part of the election of God today. They were. Okay? And that will be another video that I'm going to do on Calvinists. Okay? The U of TULIP, unconditional election. Okay? To prove that election, that God's elect is not us. It was them back then. Okay, so Calvinism, if you take away election from Calvinism, Calvinism cannot do anything without election, because that's limited atonement, okay, the L of TULIP, and all this stuff. But anyway, look, don't think that the 144,000 is us. That was them back then, okay, and we are part of the ones that are reigning with Christ. Now, if you want to know more about this, I've got a whole playlist of the end times and all the stuff that you need to know about that. Go and check it out. Coming up right here. Go check this out, and God bless you.